right, everyone. Welcome to Mind of a Genius. And you already know that the concept of MOAG is we have the opportunity to interview people I consider geniuses in their craft. And today I have none other than Kobby Kyei, a genius when it comes to blogging. We are in an age of social media where I find it very, very relevant what we see on social media. And so I'm very, very excited, Kobby, that you had the opportunity to be here. And I do want to mention that today is Kobby's birthday, and he took time out of his busy schedule to be here with me. So, Kobby, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm super humbled to be here. Anytime there's a conversation about how we can transform the mindset, I try as much as possible to avail myself, regardless of the situation, so that I know generations are going to watch. And they would tap one or two things, because God created all of us to impact humanity,
Yes.
So I'm humbled to be here, and big shout out to all your viewership and everyone who is knowing me for the first time.
Yeah. And I love that, because the idea here is also to be able to tap into your mind, right? And so if anyone really wants to get into blogging, for example, how do they do that? How do they get started? And so while we're having the conversations, I will be tapping into a few of the things as far as your journey is concerned. And so that brings me kind of to my first question. If someone didn't know you as Kobby Kyei, we know you, right? But if someone is encountering you for the first time, what do you want them to know about you?
Thank you. I want them to have a genius, rightly on your
I like that.
shirt. I want them to know a genius, positive guy who believes in impacting society, who believes in impacting generation, somebody who has a perception of believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Regardless of every situation. I was driving with a friend yesterday. Big shout out to Finney. I was with him yesterday, and I was telling him how powerful the mind is.
Yes.
Because sometimes, literally, when there's a sport food in the fridge and you are not aware, you eat it and you're okay. Like, let's say ice kenke, you eat it.
Yeah.
But then when you are being reminded that this thing of this kenke is sport, and then that immediately your subconscious mind will now let you know that, what you are eating is not good. And then you begin to have some funny feelings in your body. So the mindset is very powerful, The concept of where we sorry to say, we see mad people on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, they encounter a lot of diseases.
Yes.
Sometimes I remember back in the days, you meet a mad person, you want to give him clean and a very healthy food, and they wouldn't want to take it, because in their mind that is not healthy. What is termed as healthy is the dirty one that you see it.
Yeah.
So you see, the mind is very powerful. Believing in yourself and knowing that everything that you sets your mind on is achievable.
Yeah.
So once you meet me, and I've been able to, you mentioned today's my birthday, you go on social media, and the conversation or the narrative has always been the same about the guy who is very positive, the guy who stands for impact, the guy who stands for humanity. And that's what I want to be known for.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known for which car I'm driving, which house I live in, where I stay, which area I stay. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Once you see me, it's about the projection of my beautiful embodiment of projects that I've been able to do.
Yeah. And it's really, really refreshing to hear that, right? Because we live in such a society where everything is about what you have and what you can show
yes.
off, right?
Like
but
the material stuff.
Material things, right? But that's not what life is about.
No, not at all. Because guess what? The bench that, you see it's dusted, parked on the roadside, or the mechanic shop was once, the talk of town, where people were taking pictures behind or in front of it. But as we speak, that vehicle is dusted and nobody wants to even get closer. But guess what? The user, if the user was able to impact society, his name and his legacy is there. People don't care about, as we sit here, do you really care about the car I'm driving?
No, absolutely not.
Generally, people don't care about where you stay.
Yes.
It's just a conversation out there.
Yes.
So if you're able to set, and that's the ecosystem has set the space in a way that you might limit your potentials if you're going to focus on the material things. And so fine, it's good to drive the good cars and all that. However, for me as a person, I've grown to read books, to watch documentaries and interviews, to believe that it is not about the material things. It's about life after here.
Yes.
The legacy for your unborn children.
Yes.
You know, they say good name is better than riches. These days, when you mention that quote on X or on Facebook, people will come after you because they will say that you can't. If the president is your father, you can't go to the gobe joint or food joint and say that my father is the president, so please give me food. So you have no, but good name is better than riches.
It's crazy.
It's
that
very
you mentioned
powerful.
That. Yeah, it's crazy that you mentioned that because the last person that I aired, the interview that I aired was Bobby Pulido. He is an artist, right? He's a Grammy Award-winning artist, great guy, humble guy. And he mentioned the same thing you mentioned. He said his grandfather told him that, Bobby, the name Pulido is a family name. It's a good name. Do not bring that name down. It's
a legacy name.
It's a legacy,
So good name is better because look at all the amazing works that I'm doing. If I'm no more, my children, my great-grandchildren, my offsprings, they are going to enjoy from the name.
Yeah.
And sometimes you even encounter people with certain names that probably someone helped you years ago with the same name.
Yes.
But they don't relate to them or with them. Yeah. But because the mere fact that they bear the same name, you want to help them. Yes. Because a certain, Che, who helped you some years ago, who came on your podcast, so now anytime you meet any person who is called Che, you want to help the person.
You associate that positive mindset with that person.
So that's what we mean by good name is better than riches. It's a very good thing
because I look at, for example, all the people who have passed away, and let me use Kwame Nkrumah for example.
Absolutely.
No one remembers the car Kwame Nkrumah was driving.
Kwame Nkrumah never owned apartments,
right? Yeah, but the impact he left behind, the him fighting for freedom. Those are certain things that he left behind, the legacy that he left behind. So I'm very, very happy that you mentioned that. It's important that we have these refreshing conversations so that people program their minds in a way that just makes sense for the entire population. So I really, really respect that.
Thank you.
So then, I know with everything all the impacts you've made with all of that, blogging is something that you're an icon, you're a genius right now with that. Is that something you thought you always wanted to do?
Yes, I think so. Because growing up as a child, I had two passions, crazy passions, one for media and one for music.
Oh, wow.
So my dad plays the trumpet. I was taught how to play the trumpet around age 12. Yeah. So junior high school, senior high school, I was playing trumpet. My dad is with the fire service band as we speak currently. So the music, and my mom sings so well. So after senior high school, I went to the University of Education, Winnipeg, to read the music education. So I played piano, I played drums, I played trumpet, and I can read music. So, and then again, you remember Junior Graphic back in the day, Junior Graphic?
Yeah, I remember Junior
Every
Graphic.
Wednesday, I never missed buying Junior Graphic.
Really?
Because I really wanted to be like a media person. I'll buy it, and then I'll go and stand in front of the mirror and I'll be reading. Big shout out to Abeku Santana. Anytime I'll be, talking like Abeku Santana and all that. So, right after university, I had accumulated quite a number of numbers on social media because I was very active then. Yeah. So 2017, I wrote for the Ghana, I think it was the entrance exams for teachers. I went to the WAEC office at Shashi. Mm-hmm. I wrote the exams, I passed. Now my teacher's appointment came. I was posted to Ashama Senior High School to teach music.
Oh, wow.
The same period, I loved the social media. The passion was there. The media was there. Even though I had no formal education with journalism, I told myself that no, I'm not going to, go into the classroom. And my mom was crazy. My mom called my, pastors and my uncles to talk to me because I'm the first child. Oh, wow. And then completed university. By God's grace, you're going to teach. Every month, your parents know that something will come.
Coming in. Yeah.
And say you want to. And her perception back then was about Facebook. Hey, now you want to make money on Facebook. Yeah. How are you going to make money? Yeah. So I just told them to just give me some, some grace period. Yeah. And then 2017, I started off, and it was amazing, and it's been an amazing journey from inception till now. So media, yes, I knew I was going to venture into media, but I didn't know how, and when, and where, because I never attended any journalism school.
That's crazy.
However, when I started blogging, I did a lot of research in making sure that I identify myself with something that would make me unique in the space. Because I was watching people like Giftiante, quite a number of great people back in the day on GTV, on TV3. and you notice that they were full of potentials in putting out relevant information, not sensationalism. Their focus was not to be stars.
Yes.
Their focus was not to
put
be
out the information.
Yes, it wasn't about like TV presenter.
I just remembered Gifty Auntie.
Yes, So,
wow.
And these people worked so hard. It was about the work.
Yes.
It wasn't about how they were. Do you know any car Gifty Auntie is driving or David Ronto? It was about the impact. It was about the work, So it has been an amazing journey, 2017 till now. And blogging, we've been able to also cement our grounds by God's grace. And we've been able to take it to another level.
2 quick questions. You mentioned junior graphic. It's no more?
Yes, no. I don't think so. I don't think it's in the system.
I miss it.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute I saw it.
Okay, so okay. And then second question, what high school did you go to? Senior
So high school, anytime people ask me about the high school that I attended, from the face value, if I should let you guess, give me some names that you mentioned. Like looking at my position now. Which high school do you think that I will attend?
Either is it in Accra or Cape Coast?
No, I mean just guess. I don't know.
I would guess maybe St. Peter's. I would guess Pope John's. Someone said it's Pope John, not Pope John's. I would guess Accra Academy. And then finally, somewhere in Cape Coast, I would guess Adisado. So you gotta choose one.
Oh,
Which one is it?
None of the above, And it's a very inspiring one because when I completed, I think we're the second batch that we had a computer placement. So I went to one of the beautiful junior high schools in Swedro, Greenfield Preparatory School.
Okay.
So my foundation was very solid. Now the computer placement, my results came in. I was posted to Fantin Yankomase Senior High School.
Oh wow!
You don't.
Where is that? I've never heard of it.
Yankomase. Big shout out to Kwame Nas. Yankomase Ahinkro Senior High School.
Oh wow!
Never had. I selected all the schools that you mentioned, but I never had. I was posted to Yankomase Ahinkro.
Wow!
And then my dad had no idea. My parents, my siblings, nobody. So my dad, for the first time, went to the school, came back, told me that it's an amazing school, beautiful school, Don't know he was lying to me. Because my mom and my dad, they didn't have money to go and pay for bribe. And that time, we were the second batch, and so the government insisted that school that the school that you've gotten, that's where you have to go. So my dad came to lie to me, got my prospectus, everything. I go to the school. The boys' dormitory was a classroom being divided for us to sleep.
Really?
Girls' classroom, no dining hall. We're bathing in the bush. We're doing everything in the bush.
That's crazy. I thought I had a crazy secondary school experience.
Bad library, laboratory, everything was just like a remote area senior high school.
Yeah.
I got there, I just started crying. Because I'm coming from, a very powerful, like my background from a preparatory school, And then I get here and I look around, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And my dad made a statement that I don't have money to change. I know you want to go to Boucher, want to go to all these big schools, but stay here and make me proud.
Wow. And
I stayed there, and this is the story. So I never went to any popular or quote unquote, those high schools that
the best schools.
The best schools.
Like Oga School.
Exactly. So from afar, people think that I went to, all these big high schools.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes God has a way of blessing.
I agree.
And I've come to conclude that it is not even about the school is important, but the greater portion of the success is your inner self and what you feel within
100%.
Because I can confidently say that with no regret, that there are also a number of people who went to all these big schools that you mentioned that they are nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
You can't find them.
Yep.
Their lives are just in a terrible state, but they attended these big schools.
Yep.
So this is a big inspiration, and I think I have to also use the opportunity to tell everyone out there, especially to the junior high school, those who are now about to enter into senior high school. When you get a very good enabling environment that will help you succeed, that's fine. Yeah. However, when you get to any school, regardless of how the environment is, make sure that the sole decision is your inner self. And make sure that you go hard on yourself.
I love that.
And I'm sure now my senior high school mates, they are all proud of me.
Yes.
Now when you go there, things have changed. I mean, the environment, they had the SLC week, and they invited me.
Oh, really?
I went there to speak, and when I told the children I completed this school,
they don't.
Most of them didn't believe it.
That's crazy.
Because they look at me as, you came into this school?
See?
So, yeah,
and I love that you do that, right? Because then all those people see you and they're like, I can do that too.
Yes.
I can, because a lot of people box themselves in and think, oh, I went to this, B or C class school, so I can't make it. It's like, no. Like it's like you said,
never allow your environment to limit you. The fact that you're from a poor background doesn't mean your back is on the ground.
I agree, 100%.
You understand? So, for me, my mindset is so different.
Yeah.
So, and because of the high school that I went, I can fit in every situation.
Yeah. What inspires that mindset in general? Because it feels like you're strong in your beliefs. You're strong.
My belief system is very strong.
Yeah. What's the foundation to that?
The foundation is my environment growing up. My foundation is my mom and my dad. Growing up, and my mom would wake myself and my brother up like 3 a.m. and they said we should pray. We can pray from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. before we go to school.
Yep.
We'll go to the farm every Saturday. We wash. We will clean. The discipline.
Yeah.
And then my environment again, looking at my enabling environment, looking at people, villages around children who are not getting water to drink.
Yeah.
Attending wearing dirty school uniforms, no good clothes to wear. And then growing up as a child, my dad also worked with the Salvation Army Rehabilitation Center. So my dad was literally in charge of the people who were building the calipers and the crutches and the wheelchairs for the disabled people.
Yeah.
So growing up as a child, I told myself I can't disappoint my environment. That's why I feel so much pain when I see people who struggled, who have now become successful, still do what they do, still trying to be negative, still trying to destroy people. If all of us would go back in time to see how we started as children, how our environment was so strong, the cultural values, respect for your elders, I said, no, I don't have to disappoint myself.
Yeah.
So that has guided my principle, because I believe that in as much as that we are growing up, your face is changing, everything is changing, you get married, you have children, but the true nature is that you can never change nature.
Yeah.
What nature am I talking about? The nature that if you stick to doing the right thing, nature will reward you. If you do bad things, nature will reward you.
I agree.
So I believe in this concept of life principle. That's the word. If you believe in life principle, which you don't need your pastor to teach you.
Yeah. Yeah.
For instance, if you go and stand on the highway and you say you have so much faith in God, so when the car is coming, it will not knock you.
You'll be gone.
You'll be gone.
Yeah.
That is like, there's nothing you can, that's fundamental.
Yes.
That's the rudiment of life.
Yeah.
So I sit back and I ask myself so many questions and my mom will tell you, do you know, I don't have a lot of advice for you. My mom doesn't talk much.
Yeah.
But do you know her reference points? Have you seen this uncle? When you were growing up, you saw this uncle. You've seen his life. Very dangerous. Now see. Okay, now look at this uncle. Family. Beautiful family.
Yeah.
Everything is moving on.
Yeah.
So those the two uncles are your footprints.
Yep. Which one do you want
Which
to
one?
follow?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the best advice. I won't say much, but just in your family, look at the people there. Those who are successful and those who are going wayward. Just look at the footprint is there.
Yeah. This is so vital, right? Because like, and that's why I love talking to people, right? Because you get to get different perspectives, different mindsets, right? And I share so much agreement with you because the way we think is super important. It can make or break us.
Do you know the reason why you're doing what you do now?
I have an idea, a little bit.
For me, I believe that it's your environment.
Yes.
And you don't want to disappoint your environment and where you're coming from.
I agree. I agree. I was just talking to someone. Someone actually had me on their podcast, right? And they were asking me, I happen to dabble into a lot of projects, and they were asking me why, right? And what is my why? And I read this book by Simon Sinek, like, what is your why? And to me, it was just like knowing how I grew up, knowing where I'm from, knowing where my parents are from, and having that mindset that I want to give my kids a better life, a better future, right? But also, I also look at a lot of people around me in this country that I grew up in, and I look at so much struggle, so much pain, right? And I'm like, what can I do to impact someone else's life just aside mine? Because one thing I love about my family, which is my dad and my mom, is they always gave back. And sometimes I remember when I was a child, I used to question, why do they always give more than I get, right? But I realized that was...
They were sowing seed for you.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way we raise our kids is super important.
It's very important.
It's vital.
And we never had those days, social media wasn't that aggressive. So we never had that time to watch podcasts.
True.
Because there was not even internet.
100%.
So this is your platform to give back to society.
I agree.
You might not see the value now, but you are doing this podcast for generations.
Yes.
Because mind you, myself and you, we are going to hit 60 very soon.
Yeah.
And then we'll look back and listen to the conversation we're having today.
Yeah.
And we can now transmit it to everyone out there. So what we are doing is not just for today, but for generations.
I agree. And that brings me to my next question, right?
Yes.
And I love that you talk about this because I know how passionate you are about mentorship, right? Or even the boy child. Because I know this is a project you're going to be starting and you're very passionate about. One of the reasons why, this exists, right, is also because a lot of people will reach out to me and say, hey, like, you're doing this, you're working on this. How do I get there, right? And it's hard, if we're being honest, as an individual to try to mentor 100 people or 10 people or 50 people if everyone is coming to you. But this is a platform that I believe maybe other people can tap into different minds and be able to take something from it. Why is that initiative very, very important to you? And what are your plans for it? Because when I saw you post about it on social media, it just garnered me up. I was very excited to see that.
Thank you. So for me, over the years, I have always seen how beautiful we've empowered the girl child. In our high school level, our tertiary level, as a society, even government level, there's always funding for women empowerment.
Yeah.
But I hardly hear men empowerment.
Yep.
I hardly hear funding for the boy child.
Yep.
Now, the big question is, these young girls that we are empowering or advocating for change will grow up there to meet the boy child up there. How is the synergy, how is it going to form up there when they meet on top? Because you can't train the girl child and leave the boy child out. I understand this concept came about when some years ago we were not giving the women that enabling environment to operate, which I perfectly understand.
Yes.
So that actually gave, because when you go to a lot of corporate institutions, we were not having a lot of women out there. So that gender equality came about. Now, we have pushed that agenda to a certain level. Now, when we're pushing the girl child, we forgot that we needed to push the boy child.
Yeah.
So you see in the system, now the girls are doing very well.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the boy child in terms of their emotional state, psychological state.
Yep.
How many men or how many boys in senior high school can they walk up to their teachers to say that this is what I'm going through? I need help.
It's never happening.
And culturally, in our society, we have also killed that emotions of men because men so you're too
Yep. But hobium. No, yeah, it's yeah.
So when parents even have children and there's a boy and a girl, the family settings, you notice that not entirely, but most often you see anytime the boy does something, the way the parents even treat the boy. Hey, we are bema, jasun na unia ba so.
Yep.
So we keep killing. So it starts from home.
Yeah.
From parenting. We kill the emotions of men.
Yeah.
And then schools. And let me share one story with you. There's a boy in an area 17-year-old boy. And his auntie was constantly raping the boy. Now the boy always will come and sit in front of their house because their parents will go to work. And this boy never had that courage to tell their parents.
Oh my God.
And the boy will come and will be crying every day. So there's one man who lives around their neighborhood, spoke to the guy. The guy was crying every day. He said, please talk to me. And he said, this auntie comes here anytime my parents go to work. She comes to rape me. Now they took the boy to the police station. Do you know what the policeman said? Now, Bema, say what you feeling so. That's how we feeling about police station.
Oh my God.
And you can't blame the police officer because the upbringing, he was also trained to believe that Bemensu.
Jeez.
You see females coming online to share their opinion regards to what they go through, their sentiments and how men are treating them. How many times do you see on social media boys sharing information about what they go through?
They would rather be clowned. Yeah.
So if we don't consciously empower these young boys coming up, you might just behave, you've not seen it. But these boys will grow up to marry the girls up there.
Yeah.
So there should be a system in place to empower the boy child. I mean, I read it in the news that currently as you speak, the whole of Ghana, most of the senior high schools or the senior high schools in Ghana, most of them are girls. Now limited boys.
Wow.
Look at this news trending. Unim Red.
Oh yeah.
You know, these youths trying to abuse drugs and all that.
Yeah.
I've seen females in it, but constantly you see a lot of boys.
Yeah.
So my agenda is that society, in terms of churches, from home, from parenting, the whole ecosystem, we must make sure that with a conscious effort, we empower the boy child.
Yeah.
And also, the reason why most of these things also happen is that, you know, in a marriage settings, growing up, if you are in the midst of your parents, and this advice goes to the mothers, you know, daddies don't stay home quite a lot of time. So you need to consciously advocate to your children that daddy has gone to work, daddy is busy, daddy has not neglected you guys. Because if you don't do that and you speak ill of your husband to the children, it gives them a different perception about how they see men.
Yeah, a male figure in their life who is
Exactly.
very, very important.
When I grew up was when I realized that some of the things that my mom was saying about my dad wasn't true. Because daddy doesn't stay home doesn't mean that he's out there chilling, doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how men is. When you call your dad that you have school fees or you need money for your fees, you know, daddies, they have a way of talking. They won't say, I don't have.
Yeah.
But even it will come, but it will take time.
Yep.
So if you don't have a mother figure who translates that language to the child to know that daddy is busy, daddy is finding money, daddy will come home, don't worry.
Yeah.
And again to the daddies as well. Because I have to hit here and hit here.
Yes.
We are in a world of digitalization. Let's encourage using video calls. Let's open up to our children.
Yeah.
Because most of the daddies also, they don't open up.
Yeah.
Lack of communication.
Yes. Yes.
So it makes the boy child coming up looking after his dad to go like, oh, daddy doesn't like talking. Daddy is always in his corner. So that's how naturally men are.
Yeah. But I like that you talk about that. And that's something, it's a conversation I've had with some people in the past, right? Because we talk about, even as Africans or as Ghanaians, for example, we have this issue, like you mentioned, Bemensu, all these like phrases that are used around here and there, right? It's been a generational thing that has been passed on, right? The only thing is, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, okay, I personally want to give my parents a lot of grace, right? Because they grew up in a certain culture with taught them all of that. And it's very hard when they're at a certain stage that they're at to unlearn that. And so it becomes our responsibility
to change the narrative. Because now a new generation is going to come out of it.
Exactly. So then I'm like, okay, you know, my dad, and I mean, my dad would be maybe the exact same way. He lived in the U.S. at a time where we lived here, right? He was so good at calling every single
time.
day and coming down at least once a year, every single year, right? But I'm like you said, video call would have been great.
Yes.
You know, to be able to see him and interact like that. But that's a different era. We're in a new era where it's like me and you have no excuse for the next generation.
Absolutely.
And so I love that you're putting out that initiative that will help change people's mindset and also like empower young people. Like the story you shared about that young boy, like there's a lot more of those stories.
A lot. Crazy. A lot. If you should take this project as your personal, project where you can interview these young guys and blur their faces.
Yeah.
The stories that you hear. And I tell you, it's relatives who are raping these young boys.
Yeah.
Because imagine if a young boy walks up to one of your camera guys and say, my auntie is raping me. I'm sure a camera guy would tell him, oh, Charlie, Master, go and enjoy. Your auntie, you get someone where they sleep plus you. But you are damaging the boy's psychological, prospects.
Yeah.
His emotions.
Yes. And it damages the way he sees sex in general as well. It damages it completely.
So we make the woman, the parts of the women, how they encounter some of these situations, a big deal.
Yeah.
But with the boys, nobody talk about it.
Yeah. What is your plan to help change that narrative as far as initiatives?
My plan is what we are doing.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
And also speaking to, we have a ministry of gender. And sometimes when you look at what these people do as a ministry, when you go to a ministry of gender, they will tell you most of the initiatives are for women, are for the girl child.
Yeah.
Women empowerment.
I agree.
The scholarship will come in. They want to look at women first. It's beautiful. They have to do that. However, I believe that same energy should be channeled to the boys. To the boys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use my platform, and also I move into a lot of schools to educate them, and I'm pleading with teachers and authorities, pastors, that some of these conversations, how many times haven't we heard about Joseph and Mary and Moses and all these stories? And what I love about, these current pastors is that most of them, in as much as that they are touching the Bible, they are teaching about life reality.
Yes.
Because, these are some of the conversations we need to have in churches.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Because I'm sure in the church, 100%. They have some special treats for the girls.
Yeah.
And even in punishment, when they want to punish in schools, if you want to punish, the students, girls, their punishment is different.
It's different from,
The boy, you can kneel down the whole day.
Yeah.
Just ask the boy, the girl to go and sweep.
Yeah. They will lash us too.
So the whole perception. So this woman interviewed me, Giftianti interviewed me.
Yeah.
And I was telling her that the whole educational system, we need to revisit it. We need to review it. And I think now they're even doing better, because back in the day, if you remember, if you're going to read any textbook from agricultural skills, back of the book or the cover page is an old woman chewing steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you going to find agriculture very attractive?
Yeah.
You should put John DeMello as a cover.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Like that. Yeah,
let's see successful men, nice men. Let's not change the concept of farming to be for
just
the
old women.
aged.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's that right there. Because if I'm reading agriculture skills textbook, and I see an old man,
immediately you just think, I don't want to do this.
It turns me off.
Yeah. But I like that you're saying that, because you might not know, but everything you're talking about goes back into mindset, right? Because then, like, when you see
the mind is very powerful.
Yeah. Immediately you see it subconsciously That's what you think.
You know, we have children in Ghana who they've never traveled before, but they have American accents.
Yes.
Because they watch cartoons on TV.
Yes.
True or false?
100%. Yes.
They have UK accent because they watch cartoons.
Yes.
Because of the mindset, because of what they consume.
Yeah.
And we are in a world of audiovisuals. What you consume every day. And now these days, it's even more dangerous because of the algorithm on TikTok. Because the more you watch some of these things, they recommend them to you.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Wow. And so, but thank you very much for taking on this initiative. I know that a lot of people will, jump on to support in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm 100% game to support in any way, shape, or form. I do think we need to find a way to spread the word and also to mentor as many young men as possible so that they can have a brighter future. So the same way we're showing love to our girl child, like you said, we need to show love to the boy child. So, Kobby, I want to dive into what you do when it comes to blogging, right? I know you see blogging from a different kind of scope, right?
Yes.
These days, when people say blogging, what you think about it is just konkonsa and gossip, right? A lot of people just want to put out information for putting out sake. What is your concept of what good blogging is? And I think that's what makes you a genius. So I want to kind of see what you feel like makes up really, really good blogging.
So, like I mentioned from the beginning of the conversation, I told you how I consciously had to visit the internet to read about blogging, and to make what I do different. And one of the unique things that I found on the internet was that literally everyone was or is a blogger.
Yeah.
Even though you've not taken that professionally, everywhere you go, you do videos. You post on your timeline, you're blogging. So back in the day, people had their personal, WordPress site where they share the information there.
Yes.
So people were personally blogging.
Yeah.
So blogging in test as in websites, and then it came to blogging on social media where, because I remember those days, we have this, white folks come to our community, they have cameras on their neck.
Yeah,
you
all
see
the
them
time.
all the time.
Yeah.
Capturing moments. They were blogging. They were sharing stories about visiting Ghana, visiting a village in the central region.
Yeah.
So literally everyone is a blogger. However, there's been a transformation of the concepts of blogging, where now it is not just about TV3 giving us news content, or Ghana Web, or My Joy Online, but now people sitting back creating blogs or website for themselves in putting out news content.
Yeah.
Now, in putting news content on your blog, whether it's your social blog with your TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, there's always ethics in every profession.
Yep, I agree.
So when we're transforming from just blogging our personal life and our environment to being putting out informative content, a lot of people back here in Ghana missed the point, and now because they wanted traffic, because they wanted a lot of money, because the more people view, you get the trackability and the money on YouTube. The concept of blogging in terms of following the ethics of the profession switched and now became sensationalism, putting out things that will trend for trending sake. And then I look back and I tell myself that if this is the concept, I don't want to follow that ideology, because I still want to penetrate into the system by putting out relevant information, because that is what will make you sustain and build that credibility for yourself.
Yeah. Do you think there's space for doing that and also being successful in today's climate?
How do you define success?
That's a great question.
Yes. No, because sometimes, and when I started this whole movement of me trying to be different, I had a lot of people telling me, you will be successful, you won't do this. But then it comes back to ask the bigger question. Who is successful? How do we determine success? Again, to the mindset.
Yeah.
How you see success is different from how I see success. Success to me was when I had no idea about blogging, but now I am a blogger. Number one, I'm successful.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in our space, it is not easy to find your purpose and your passion.
Yes.
And to fulfill it and to align yourself with your unique potentials.
So that becomes success.
Yes.
Right?
That's success.
Fulfilling the
Yes.
purpose you set out to achieve.
That's that joy.
Yeah.
That fulfillment is success.
Yeah.
Because now you can just sleep and say, God, I can wake up anytime and visit my course. That's success.
Yeah.
Success, again, goes back to what you're saying. I don't define success as material things.
Yeah.
I don't see success as trending. I don't see success as me becoming a big blogger in Ghana and owning, like having a mansion.
Yeah.
Or driving Range Rover. I don't see success that way. My success is using my platform to post a village that needed water and somebody coming to help them. Now a whole community is drinking clean water.
Wow.
My success is when nobody told me that I was going to be here, and then last year I was invited to speak at the United Nations.
Wow.
My success is being able to change the whole narrative of how people can use social media to impact lives.
Yeah.
So you might see some bloggers trending all over the place, doing a whole lot of things. That is a success for them.
For them, yeah.
Which
Not
I
for you.
don't begrudge them.
Yeah.
That is their philosophy. Their philosophy is to trend. Their philosophy is to make all the hullabaloo, like the noise and all that. That is the end. I don't have any problem with them.
Yeah.
Because my environment is different from their environment. But I keep saying that the space is very big. I mean, Ghana, we are over 30 million population.
Yep.
Not everyone will go on social media to see the trending stuff. As a matter of fact, most of them, they see it, but they don't like it. They just skip. But you might see the views because the person has watched it. It doesn't mean that people, and so people go like, oh, Kobby, people like it anyway. People like it. It's different from people liking and people consuming it to believe what you have posted.
Yeah.
It's different concept.
Yes.
Because there are things that you see on social media, you view it all right,
Yeah.
and it will calculate from the person's end that when you view, no,
But I didn't believe
but
anything.
you didn't believe anything that. But imagine me posting something that is more impactful than people seeing it and then going crazy about it and then going somewhere, people coming to you. I go to some places, I mean, my team can attest to the fact I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
I don't jump on stage. But I walk into places that people see me and they cry. Countless times. And ask myself, what am I doing? I'm not a musician, I'm not an actor. But people see me and you know why? They walk up to me and say, Kobby, we watch you, we see what you do, and it's so, the frequency of what you do, it touches our hearts. So success is not about.
But I like that as well because it's redefining what some of these things are made out to be, right? So a lot of people define success, like you said, as the numbers, right? You know, I have 1 million views and I get so excited.
You know,
right?
1 million, which I mean, you don't use it to make any impact.
Exactly.
No.
But for example, for me, I personally don't like following bloggers, right? Because like you said, like the noise is too much. Like I see so much content and the algorithm makes it in such a way that you consume more and it can just dump down your spirit, right? All you're listening to is just commentary of people just saying whatever they want to say. But if it's content that is impactful, if it's content that, I'm like I said, I remember seeing when you talked about that boy child initiative, as soon as I saw it, I watched the full thing. I went straight into your DMs.
You should tell me how you're able to discover me. How do you discover me?
That's a great question. That is a great question. I think it might have been remember I told you my sister lives in the same area as you. I think she posted one of your content and that's how I discovered you, right? But then after the fact, and this is after I had reached out to you, right? I saw you post the initiative about a boy child and I was like, bro, I have, this is something I have literally thought about. And I remember as soon as that happened, I reached out to you. I sent you a DM, right? Because I think that's what life is all about. That's what the impact is all about.
And
so
you ask yourself, like, how many influencers and how many bloggers in our space will pick up some of these topics?
Oh, no.
Like my campaign for the zebra, respect for zebra crossing. Moving to the villages.
But I hope that would inspire a lot of other people to do what you're doing, though, right? I do hope so, because I think if we are, and I have a system where I call it the value chain, right? If we all think about providing value to someone, right, and not think about taking, value will go around to everybody, right? So if all these other influencers stop thinking about, I just want to take views and comments and interaction from people, but I want to provide value
But their
to my
mindset
audience.
is different from what we are discussing.
Yeah, I mean,
the actions, what they do doesn't show that this is what they want to drive at.
yeah,
But to the glory of God, some of these things, you and me, as a selection of people,
yeah,
we all have to come into conclusion that this is our calling.
and do it well.
Until you accept that this is your calling. Because for you to, try to get me here, try to get other people here, to transform mindset, it's your calling.
Yeah.
And
I
this
agree.
interview might not generate a lot of talkability, but however, this is going to generate talkability in the next 2 decades.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
You see how the
Yeah.
fantasy
Yeah.
jumps up when we see Kwame Nkrumah's old tapes?
Yeah. 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 And I remember someone when I wanted to do this, right? And telling people, hey, I want to bring, genius minds. And I was getting a lot of recommendations on, interview this person, interview that person. I was like, no. I would mention names, but I wouldn't.
Stick to the core.
Right? No, I said
Yeah.
no. I still want to interview people that will bring out substance that, a lot of people can learn from. So I agree with you. I think having that right mindset can change a lot for us and everybody. So Kobby, throughout your career, I'm sure that you have certain goals for yourself and as far as your personal brand. Where do you see the Kobby Kyei brand in the next couple of years?
This answer might sound unanswered
It's okay.
because I believe in God's timing. I'm not the type who say in the next 10, the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Because there are things that I used to plan. God said, hey, stop.
Who are you?
Stop messing up. And it happens to people who believe in God.
Yeah.
Because I so much believe in God, where I'm coming from, where I am, I just had to pick. I wake up to picture it. And I tell God that, let it unfold.
Yeah.
And I see them unfolding. And I'm like, God, you told me I shouldn't rush through.
You've done it for me.
So people come with me. People come up with me with beautiful ideas. Kobby, with your brand, you can do this. With your brand, you can do this. With your brand. And I tell them, yo.
Relax.
One of the most important things I've learned in this life personally is patience. I'm not in any race with anybody.
I love it.
You can be the best blogger. You can travel all over the world. You can do everything you want to do. But my focus and my footprint needs to be directed by God. So I don't know what I'm going to do in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. But as we sit here,
Yeah.
all those things will unfold.
Yeah.
And you believe what I'm saying.
You know what's crazy? Remember I told you about Bobby, right? In the same way you mentioned. I don't know if this is meant to happen, right? But I asked Bobby this same question, and he gave the exact same answer
really?
you gave. 100%. And after this, I'll send you that
Yes, I have to
interview.
watch.
He said the exact same thing. He said, Yao, you can plan as much as you want, right? But God's timing is what will change everything. It's what will make things happen. So, and this gives me confirmation that, the people that, are coming on here,
Yes.
again, it's all God's will, it's all God's plan.
Exactly.
Everything is kind of coming
And
together.
I use this as an example. When I had my US visa, I was like, my friends, I told a couple of friends and families that I'm coming to the I've gotten US visa. Oh, Charlie, you've been waiting all this while. Come over. We'll pay your ticket. We'll do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you guys should relax. I want to come at the right. I want to come with purpose.
Yeah.
So when do I say, no, relax? I got an email on Monday that I come to the UN, and then I flew on Thursday.
Wow.
And that visit was like what's the word? The magnitude of that visit was more powerful than me just
It was
buying ticket to go and
purposeful.
visit. Yes. And when I touched down after the UN, I went to the Grammy, how did they invite me for their dinner? A whole lot. It was just unfolding.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tell my friend, yo, God's timing. God's timing.
Yeah. And God did it. I mean, he always does.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing that I strongly believe in. I love it. So I think I just have 2 more questions for you, right? You mentioned the initiative about the zebra crossing initiative. You've done some initiatives as far as helping people, with boreholes and stuff like that. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about why you want to do things like that outside of everything you do in the first place.
I think I'm just blessed with ideas. I try to think outside the box, and I pray to God that, God, give me something that will always let me stand out. Because I have over 600,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. 300,000 over on X, Facebook. I mean, close to 1 million. Yeah. And these people are my community. And from the onset or from inception, I've been able to stick to this principle of making sure that I come up with impactful content. I don't have to disappoint them. Yeah. Sometimes we take our followers for granted just because we have the followers, so we post anything. The zebra crossing was inspired by me not respecting the zebra crossing. You live at Botiano. Yeah. After the Western Mall. Yeah. You see how people struggle to cross?
People die.
Yes.
On that stretch. Yeah.
I get there and I don't care. I just drive. I just go. Yeah. So my subconscious mind started knocking or tapping in my mind to ask me, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Remember when you were not driving, you were also using the same
and you wanted cars to stop for you.
And I used to insult the drivers that, hey, won't you stop? Like, anytime I'll just get mad. Yeah. But now, by God's grace, you are driving. And you are still doing the same thing to the people who are not driving. Wow. I told myself that, no, God forgive me. I need to start something. How was I going to do it? I've had a lot of friends, colleagues who work with big media houses come to me to say, Kobby, sometimes you embark on projects that we as a media house, we can't even do it. But you as a single person, you do it and you get results. That's why I want to refer you again that that's my calling. Yeah. I started a campaign and I had the Norwegian ambassador. I'll bring all these ambassadors to stand in the sun to direct the traffic. And this is just blessing. You know what it takes to go through to get ambassadors even to their office and even bring them from their offices to come and stand.
That's tough. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just everywhere. So they had to just fund me to construct zebra crossings, which are closer to schools. And then boreholes to schools. So it is my belief system. I don't pay attention to the trending news. Yeah. I look at waking up in the morning. So sometimes I can go days without posting. And I will still be relevant. Because my content are timeless. Yes. I don't need to post trending news to be relevant. So even when I'm not in the country, people don't know I'm not in the country.
Word.
You understand?
Word. Yeah.
So I make sure that I put something online that people will pause and go like, hey, you see the way the boy child thing strike you? Yeah. That's 100%. How I operate. Yeah. And that's what I want to do.
Impact at all fronts.
Till the end of my life. I don't want, like I mentioned, I don't want people to tweet at me or mention that this is Kobby's car, this is Kobby's mansion. I don't need that.
That's not important. No.
I want people to tweet about the fact that Kobby changed this person's life. There was a community that they needed water. Kobby has provided them with water. That's the conversation people should have about me till I'm no more. That's the conversation.
I love it. And I think it's very simple. It's the essence of life, okay? I think sometimes we overthink it. It's like God has given us a purpose on this earth, right? And who are we to show off and brag about what we have, right? So just remain humble.
With the stress,
Charlie.
Life is so simple.
Yeah.
With the stress.
I agree. Kobby, I feel like we can go on and on and on.
How many questions left, though?
I have just one last question
Okay.
for you, right? This is a question I ask every guest on the show, right? Because the name of the show is Mind of a Genius. What does being a genius mean to you? And how do you want that to impact the upcoming generation?
Genius is doing something effortless from your own domain when people are not watching you. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
It just came to me.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I said.
Genius is doing something effortless out of your own domain, right?
When
people are not watching you.
That'd be crazy. Huh?
And that just came like that.
It just came. Oh my God. Thank you, God, for wisdom.
That's crazy.
Thank you, God, for wisdom. Thank you, God. Oh, amazing. Oh. Me and Sofa Quebec said, Jesus.
At this point, you can start a church.
So it means that I'm a genius.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because if your definition is what I have answered you by what I said,
And it was effortless.
I'm effortless.
I love it.
Because when people are watching you, you begin to, what should I say?
Yeah.
You try to be too careful.
Yeah.
And you know, Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the figures that inspired me, even though I've not met him before.
Yeah.
I know he'll watch this interview one day.
Yeah.
Genius, regardless of whether people are watching him or not. You know,
He still puts in a show. Effortlessly.
effortless.
Yeah. I'm a Messi fan, but I'll give I'll give Ronaldo
You know,
his. No, he's still a great,
Yes.
great athlete.
Yes.
A great athlete. You can't take that from him. Absolutely not.
I don't force things. I just allow things to happen naturally. And when things to happen naturally, you define your moments in it, and you find your mistakes in it, you find your geniuses in it,
Yeah.
and you become a better person or a better version of yourself.
Beautiful. So, Kobby, I want to thank you, right, for taking time out of your busy day. And like I said, Kobby, I have so much respect for you
I
because
respect you too.
you did this on your birthday, right?
Crazy.
So many people would never do this.
I have a lot of because I have class. I'm doing my masters in school. I'm doing media and digital communication.
Oh wow!
So I have class today, and I have a lot of things to do. I'm super busy.
Wow!
But the concept, genius mind.
Yeah.
I just had to tell myself that I have to be part of this history.
Wow.
Where in future, when you are telling people about the people that came on your show, I'll be a part of it.
Yeah.
And when I hit 60, I'm sure my grandchildren will also. I'll watch it with them.
Yeah.
So you remember this year,
and I know for sure I'll have you back on here again.
We
like
have to
100%.
Yeah. Anytime you come, let's do something together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So this is just a token of appreciation. Wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh, with my name.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Kobby.
So thank you very much. We all appreciate you,
thank you,
right?
thank you,
And we all wish you a happy birthday. And that I have huge respect for people who are still able to do this. When you told me, I thought you were just going to say, hey, I'm going to spend time with my family and friends. But for you to be here shows me that you really care about impacting other people and future
important.
generations to come. So thank you again.
Thank you too, and I want to say a big thank you to your crew, your camera guys, to all those beautiful girls.
So we have here Maureen, who is head of production.
Yes. So to the production crew, to the camera guys, everybody, amazing people.
Yeah.
I think sometimes those who work behind the scenes, they don't get that credit.
Yes.
I think they've also done so well.
They make all the magic happen.
And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the cake and I appreciate everything. I mean, thank you so much.
Of course.
Yes.
Shout out to Dennis in the back as well. He's our editor.
Hey,
he's been.
That's like
I
Dennis.
know you know him.
Dennis is a farm. Like Dennis literally knows me from zero.
Wow.
Yeah, he knows me zero.
That's
he
incredible.
knows me zero.
That's incredible.
So one of the people that is really proud of me I don't know his heart, but genuinely, he's always happy for me.
Wow.
You know, of course, he also shoot for Sarkodie's wife and the whole family.
Yeah.
And I remember when the two, myself and Tracy, we went to Kenya University to speak.
Yeah.
And then he sat back and said, hey, this is Kobby Kyei now on the same stage with Sarkodie's wife that we used to idolize. Like, amazing, you know. The feeling be
shout
crazy.
out, Dennis. Shout out. Shout out. Yeah. But yeah, thank you again for being here, guys. This has been so impactful, even for me personally. I hope that you get to learn something out of it. So thank you for watching, coming this far. You can find Kobby Kyei on all social media.
Yes.
At Kobby Kyei.
Yes, on Instagram is Kobby.Kyei, and on X is Kobby Kyei _ Facebook is Kobby. Just type Kobby Kyei.
Yeah.
And
it will come up.
Just read and support what I do.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who follow you from the diaspora. I do a lot of humanitarian stuff.
Yes.
And I'm very credible. You can trust me anytime you want us to partner to do projects. So please, those who are coming from the diaspora, calm down. There's a lot of communities that sometimes they don't need much.
Yeah.
What they need is school uniform.
Yeah.
Textbooks, reading books.
Yeah.
So please, come back to Ghana and let's support and change the narrative.
And I would love for us to work on some
we have to do something
for sure. Yeah.
There's a project that because when I say it, people, I mean, someone can just pick the idea. But I'll discuss with you off air. Yeah. Let's see how best we can collaborate. Because Dennis is also a good guy. Maybe we can add Dennis to it so that we can collaborate. Because if I share the concept with you, crazy. Yeah. Nobody in mind go there.
Yeah.
Me and you, we go fit tap that side.
Yeah.
And again,
and I have great people who would also want to support, right? Anything that we do that can help a lot more people, right? I know some of you guys are always looking for ways to give back, and I think that we can find ways to do that. Absolutely. With Kobby. So thank you guys once again. See you on the next episode.